What's up, y'all? It's your boy, and decided to come back to Dying Light. I actually had a homie tell me that it was free on the Epic Game Store. Shout out to him. I just said, why not get it, right? Because I didn't have it for my PC. And I actually want to talk about Dying Light 1 to Dying Light 2. So, long story short, I do think Dying Light 1 is slightly better than Dying Light 2. But I think if I look at the overall package, I think I do prefer Dying Light 1. I still like Dying Light 2. I still think it's a good game. No, go down, bitch. So first, I think we could talk about the story. The story for both games are anything like crazy. But if I have to pick, ooh, a new pipe, I would go with Dying Light 1 simply because I think the story and the characters are more memorable in Dying Light 1. I think they just bring a bit more substance. Is this motherfucker dead? Hold on. There we go. Well, it just didn't really hit like Dying Light 1 story, at least in my personal opinion. And then now we could talk about gameplay stuff. First, we could talk about the parkour, which is obviously one of the biggest selling points of this game. Also, shout out to my nigga Spike. I think the parkour is even for the most part. Like Dying Light 1 parkour, it feels a bit more realistic and better to control. Or while Dying Light 2's parkour, it had a bit more variety, right? A little bit more substance. But I think the difference maker comes in with the grappling hook. Dying Light 1 grappling hook, it's great, don't get me wrong. And, it's very great for fast traversal, all that. From an objective standpoint, it's actually not that good for the game. What the grappling hook did, it basically made most of the parkour obsolete, because why would you parkour when you can just zip across the map with the grappling hook? While the grappling hook from Dying Light 2, it didn't take away from the parkour, it just added on to it, right? And it was also more versatile, right? You can use it to swing, right? You can use it to pull you closer. I use it to scale buildings. It was just so much more versatile. That's why I think Dying Light 2 parkour gets the edge over Dying Light 1. And now we can talk about the combat, which I think you also can get the slight edge to Dying Light 2 as well. Alright, Giari.
Jade.
Right, for Dying Light 2, they just added, more combat variety, right? More, weapons and items to use compared to Dying Light 1. So again, I think pretty much, I don't know, there's really an argument you can make for Dying Light 1. Now, I think another important aspect for these type of games that you have to talk about is the setting and the atmosphere. The atmosphere, I think you have to get the Dying Light 1. I think mainly because of the nighttime sections, right? Let's go ahead and just, boom. Because another selling point for Dying Light was the nighttime section, right? Obviously at nighttime, it's more dangerous, right? Introduce the volatiles, right? Which are just a more dangerous version of the zombies you go against. And the way that they set up the nighttime section is it really sets the mood, right? And in Dying Light 1, when it's nighttime, it's actually fucking nighttime, bro. It's dark as shit, right? Dying Light 2, the atmosphere is not really there as much, because during the nighttime segments, they turned up, it's they turned up the gamma or something, which I'm not really a big fan of, right? Because the nighttime sections in Dying Light 1 were, such a big deal. Also in Dying Light 2, there's a lot more, safe spots, right? Not to say there's not a good amount in Dying Light 1, but in Dying Light 2, you have a bunch of just mini spots where you can go to and oh, you're safe, right? You could be out in the open as long as there's a spot with some UV light, oh, you're safe, right? And I think that does take away from a little bit, right? One thing that I did like about Dying Light 2, can I not open this? Oh, there we go. Was the new I forgot exactly what it's called, but the meter for nighttime. How you can't, how you had a little timer when you're out at night. If you let the timer go out, then you die, right? I think that was a great feature that they added, because it adds more stakes to the gameplay. But then when the atmosphere doesn't match the stakes, right, it's kind of a bit of a unbalance right there, you know what I'm saying? Imagine the Dying Light 1 atmosphere at nighttime with the timer. Like that would genuinely be like such a great like horror zombie experience. And also the fact that at night, Dying Light 2, I think they made an update. They made an update where volatiles show up on the street at night. But Dying Light 2, when it first came out, volatiles weren't just roaming the street like they were in Dying Light 1. You actually had to enable a chase sequence, and it wasn't until you got to level 3 where then volatiles will come out at night and start chasing you. And that obviously takes away from the game, right? They're nowhere to be found unless you went into like the little, like the nest areas during the daytime. Like you wasn't gonna see volatiles, right? Because the chase sequences, like they were pretty easy to outrun. Like if you wanted to see a volatile at nighttime, you'll have to go out of your way to make it happen, right? Where in the first Dying Light, you go out there and them motherfuckers walking the street like a fucking civilian. The fact that these, the most dangerous creatures in the Dying Light universe, casually strolling at night. But then Dying Light 2, it's like, oh, they're not even there. Which is a real shame because I actually like the volatiles more in Dying Light 2. Like, them motherfuckers can just 1 or 2 tap at you. I mean, cause just look at this atmosphere, bro. Alright, look at this. He wasn't getting this in Dying Light 2. But I wish they were just more out in the open instead of scripted events, you know what I'm saying? It just adds to the experience more. So for atmosphere and setting, I'll get the Dying Light 1. I did kind of go on a long tangent there. So yeah, so there's, you know, other, you know, sort of small, you know, things and nuances you could argue about each game, right? You know, like all the small details and stuff. But it's overall, if I have to pick a game, I'm gonna go for Dying Light 1, right? I just think my experience with the game just surpasses that with Dying Light 2. Even though there were, you know, some gameplay improvements made. Get the fuck off me, bitch. Suck my dick till I motherfucking come. Alright, there we go. So yeah, so that's basically my take on it. Like I say, if you guys think, you know, Dying Light 2 is way better or just slightly better, or you think Dying Light 1 is way better, right? I mean, you know, you're free to think that, right? Again, we all have opinions, right? But that's pretty much it, yeah. Like I said, I still love this game. I still like Dying Light 2 as well. Anyway, I hope you guys like that whole little, not even a back the fuck up, bitch. Not a little, you know, comparison I did. I don't know, do you guys agree, disagree? You know, other talking points that I didn't mention? You know, let me know in the comments. I'm really interested. But anyway, that's it for me. About to go slay some fucking zombies. About to climb up this shit.